did you know that a to-do list should not drive your day? I know this goes against conventional wisdom for about 99% of us, but you probably know this intuitively already because when you use your to-do list to drive your day, you feel not fulfilled or accomplished at the end of the day. You've driven yourself until your face hit the dirt, and you probably still, after all of that, didn't get the things done that you wanted to on your list. In fact, 41%, according to research, of things on our lists never even get checked off. They never see the light of day. So it's kind of a cycle too, because we don't get things done, we get stressed, and we don't feel fulfilled. And so just think about that. That doesn't make any sense for that to be what our day looks like every day, and yet for most of us it is. And so today, I am going to show you a much better way that I'm excited about. This, instead, you can use your energy and your momentum throughout the day. You can have a feeling of done. You'll have direction for your day. You'll accomplish a lot more. You'll accomplish more with less stress. And it's right in front of us each day. It's not something hard to grasp or complex. It's there then, and you do a lot of it already each day. We just got to hone it in, and it is your daily routine. So, not necessarily your morning routine, but that's part of it potentially, but your daily routine. So I'll get into that more in today's episode, which is my debut episode, which I am super excited about. First, you're going to learn, I'm going to convince you that a to-do list gets less done with more stress, and that it's not what should drive your day, because a lot of us need the convincing of that because we want to contribute, we want to have an impact, and it's almost at a conscience level that we want to have something helping us get things done, and a to-do list is kind of ingrained in a lot of us, so I need to help remove that and convince you that it's not the best way. Second thing we're going to talk about is a daily routine, what that looks like, how that works, and convince you that that is not only better, but it is the opposite of a to-do list. In every way that a to-do list driving your day is negative, a daily routine is positive, and you'll get way more done. And then the last thing is a simple framework for a daily routine. So we'll get into that, and it's going to be helpful for you just to see what a daily routine can look like and should look like. And then I'll leave it to you to start your own routine, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm excited. Let's get started. All right, welcome. This is the Time Smith podcast, where I help you take control of your workday, say goodbye to stress, and get way more done, all with your daily routine. Hello, welcome. My name is Robert Smith. I am the founder of Time Smith. And are we ready to start the new year off right? I think for 2023, you really could have a completely different year. I'm really excited for this debut podcast because it kind of succinctly says my methodology that has worked really well for me and those that I've worked with as well. And we'll get into it a little bit more, but I think if you're anything like me, you can get done way more in 2 hours than you ever did in 8 stressful hours letting a to-do list run your day. So we're going to see just how powerful this is, and I think that this 2023 could be huge for you because I think you could get way more done, have way more energy for all the areas of your life as well as professional and career, and it could be the start of something new, and I'm excited for you. Before we get started, I want to give you a free gift. This is a 2-page kind of starter guide, but I don't hold anything back. It's the power routine framework we'll talk about at the end, which in a checklist form so you can get started on your daily routine. It gives you email processing checklist so that you can get through all your email and chat quickly, and we'll go into that a little bit more here soon. And then it also gives you the different lists you need and kind of outlines those. So that might be a lot to take in just right now, but just know that it's just 2 pages, really straightforward, and pretty much is your cheat sheet for everything that I'm going to say in this episode. So you'll find that at timesmith.work/guide. All right, let's get started. So the first thing that we need to talk about is that a to-do list should not drive your day. And my job here is to convince you at kind of a conscience level to help you, something that is so deeply ingrained in so many of us, that if we just get to these tasks, we'll feel fulfilled, we'll feel done. And I'm here to tell you that there's a way better way to get through your tasks. I'm not saying to never do anything again. I'm saying let's think about this and figure this out together. If you're not convinced after this section that a to-do list is not good, especially for you deep thinkers, that's fine. Sometimes I have to listen to a podcast a couple times just to get it deeper and deeper in me. I did this with the Family and Finances podcast for contentment recently. It was just so good to listen to that a few times and just let it sink deeper each time. If you're still not there, you can always pray, journal, think about it, and just give yourself some time to process this, because you can't really move on to a daily routine until you realize just that a to-do list should not drive your day. All right, reasons that a to-do list should not drive your day. Number one, it is daunting. So think about it. You have the best intentions. You have this list that you want to get to stuff on it. But as soon as you kind of think about your list, don't you get stressed? Or as soon as you think about your list, it's just big. At least for me, I literally had, apparently this is normal, but I had 50, 70, 100 tasks on my list. It was daunting, and it is for many of us. It's kind of like when in the desert scenes of movies where like the camera zooms out almost or zooms in. I don't know how that effect works, but it makes the desert look like way longer than it was before. That's how we feel when we get to our to-do list. So 1, it's daunting. 2, we don't write tasks well. So many of us we'll write our tasks in a way that our mind can't instantly process. So we'll say fix car instead of call Midas. Midas being where my wife and I get our cars fixed. So that little tiny gap where if you see something on your list that says fix car, you just skip over it in the moment. We all do it. Because there's that really small piece of processing our mind has to do to think about what's next. And this can be a little bit more intense than fix car, call Midas, but on a project or something, but we don't write our tasks well, so we just skip over them. Reason 3, our lists fill up. It's kind of just a place to put things that we say we'll get to, and we can feel a little bit better about having them somewhere, but we don't really get to them. 41% of our lists, of the things on our list, never even get checked off. I can relate with that for sure. We end up really stressed because we aren't getting to all of it. So I think we can just all relate with that. You just get stressed pushing and pushing and pushing. Some people actually think that being stressed all day and every day is okay and just like the reality. And I think that feels a little old school now. I think people in my generation and the next kind of don't want to just stress out and kind of trade their whole life for like a career or something. But I'm here to tell you, not only can you have both. When I say that, it almost feels like you take your career down a notch. I'm really not going to tell you to take your career down a notch. I'm telling you to get more done with less stress and just with a better framework. I remember the first 8 months of my customer success manager role that I have now at a SaaS company, I got way less done in those 8 hours of stress pushing than I do now on 2 hours. I get way more done in 2 hours than I ever could have in 8 back then. Just much more momentum, things not falling through the cracks, things getting pushed forward. So you don't have to trade it. Now think about that for me. if now I've been investing in my company with extra projects I can take on, just I'm able to do more in the time that I have. But we'll get to that soon. I don't recommend that at first. I recommend you detox from pushing, but we'll get to that. Um, we don't ever have a done feeling because our lists are so big, and that's the objective of our day. Just go to get the most we can get done on our list. Go get it done. And it doesn't, like, we never get to the end of it. I thought about this on a bike ride the other day. If I hadn't gotten out on my bike ride for a long time, and I was excited to finally get out, and it felt great to be riding my bike. And then this weird feeling hit, like, oh, I've only rode 5 miles. I should just keep riding. And it's almost like if your objective is to ride every street in the entire city and just go as much as you can, well, inevitably I'm going to feel not accomplished at the end of my bike ride because there's no way I'm going to get to all of that. So we have to set ahead measurable expectations for ourselves. And we have to say, okay, an hour bike ride or five miles, and that's going to be good. And that's my done. And so when we get to 5 miles, we can feel good about it. And that takes a little bit of discipline, but you can feel good about getting through things with a daily routine versus a to-do list is just this huge monster that we never have a done feeling from. We don't wall ourselves for a to-do list. We don't wall ourselves off from distraction soon enough. A lot of times we actually want to be distracted because we don't want to do those things on our list, and there's just a bunch of them. And honestly, none of us are superhuman. If you are superhuman and you're listening to this, then let me know. I'd love to meet you. But for most of us, we're not superhuman, and thinking about a huge list with a bunch of stuff is daunting. It's stressful, and so we actually let ourselves be distracted. And then maybe finally by the end of the day, we might wall ourselves off from distraction, but it's too late. We're overwhelmed. We just feel like we just need to start over again tomorrow. We just let chat and email and things kind of just take our day off course. And it's just not sustainable. Just think about it. We end up burning out. We end up desperately needing vacation. Nowadays, when I'm on vacation, it's really similar to just my day-to-day. I'm like, okay, I'm in a lot cooler place, and it's fun and the adventure is fun, but I don't feel like I really need vacation. It's kind of crazy. But again, getting more done, less stress. It's not like I'm just doing nothing. I was able to take on double the customers expected of me and a lot of other things, have a lot of metrics showing a lot of progress and a lot of forward momentum, and yet I don't need vacation. So with a to-do list driving our day, we just are desperate for vacation. We're burning out. And then here I have underlined big booms at the end of a fireworks show. So just think about this. If you're still getting convinced, even if we get done with our list, doesn't it fill up even more? By definition, a task list isn't a project list. We get part A of a project done, and if we check that off, what happens? Don't we add part 2 and part 3 onto that task list as well? And so even if we get done with the project, isn't there a next project that we have to do? So it's like a slope you can't climb up, and you slide out every time you try to get a good handhold. As soon as you get something done, another thing replaces it. So just think about it. Why would you let that be your done? Because it's never going to be done. I have a really close friend, somebody that I love really dearly, and I've known for a decade now or more. And this person works 60, 80, 100 hours. Even when they're not working, they're thinking about the things that they need to get done. And a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders. But for a decade, probably more, this person has always had something that they just have to get done next. Just always high stress, always trying to get that stuff done that they need to get done. Never a break. And it's worn this person out. I can see it, and it's really tough. I think most of us are like that. How many of us go years and decades and potentially our whole life just hoping for retirement maybe, and which I'm told retirement is great, not dissing retirement, but how much of us just go pushing towards our list all of our lives? Okay. We get distracted, we get overwhelmed, and I argue you don't really get even one big thing done. I've talked to people that, one of my clients even, that they just, for a month, they've been pushing off that one thing that they wanted to get to. So even when we have task lists driving our day, I think, just think about it, we don't get those things done. So it just doesn't make sense. To-do lists driving our day, they hurt us more than they help us. We don't get the things done that we want to get done, and we end up stressed, not feeling done. So many things. Just think about it for yourself. Has it worked for you? Real quick, before I get into daily routine, some people mention using a calendar instead, like putting tasks on their calendar. I've tried it. And maybe if you don't know, I've studied productivity stuff for like over 10 and implemented it for like over 10,000 hours. I'm really nerdy about this stuff, and I finally got it to a point where it's working consistently for a while now. So that's why I'm talking about this. But I've tried different things, and one of them was calendaring my tasks. That just doesn't work for me, and I don't know really who that could work with for, unless you have a secretary doing that for you. One, your tasks change in time. You never really know how long a task is going to take. I just took on a huge project this last week, and honestly, it ended up being way quicker than I thought. It ended up that these 10 different documents I had to write were mostly the same, and I could copy and paste almost all of them. And so the person writing the instructions, it probably took them longer just to write instructions for me to do the project than for me to actually do the project. But neither of us knew that going into it. So it can take way less time. It can take way more time. And then what happens when priorities shift during the day? You got to change your calendar. And then honestly, I think what happens with those of us that try that, if it's successful, it's more like a daily routine. And but for most of us, I think it doesn't accurately reflect our day, and we quickly give up on calendaring our tasks or putting our tasks on our calendar. A lot to maintain, and it's not really realistic. So to-do list driving your day doesn't make sense. We don't get things done, and we don't feel done, we don't feel fulfilled, we push things off, it's overwhelming, it's stressful. And calendaring your tasks just isn't practical for most of us. So where does that leave us? Because we have to get stuff done, and we want to. We're meant to do work. So that leaves us with a daily routine. And I am really excited to talk to you today about a daily routine, because I think it's going to help you. So a daily routine, what is it? It's just a sequence of habits. So a daily routine really benefits from stringing together a few habits, so doing certain things in order, because those habits, it's greater than any one habit you do each day, because the order you do them and doing them together actually is more powerful than they are apart or on their own. And so you do it each day, and you're able to take that momentum you have from the habits that you form in the daily routine and get through everything. All right, so let me convince you a little bit more about how a daily routine is super helpful and why it's really a godsend. So I took the exact same list I did for my to-do list, why a to-do list doesn't work, and I put it into the second section but literally every single bullet of why a to-do list is bad, a daily routine, I just flipped it. Everything is better about a daily routine. It's positive in every way that a to-do list is negative. So it's not daunting because you're doing it every day and you know you can get through it, and you're just increasing by one manageable habit every day. And so and I think that there's a good place you can stop with that with the framework I'll tell you about, but it's not daunting. Your true self knows you can get through it. And I even recommend just doing one main task a day and just start there and let yourself off the hook after that so that you can detox from push. Just do one thing on your list. Your task list should be something that would take 15 minutes to 2 hours max. Stop yourself after 2 hours because you're probably hitting a wall at that point and you just need some space for your mind to be creative again and think through it. So I just recommend one task a day, and you'll get more done in a week with one real task a day than you did pushing and being distracted and stressed and overwhelmed every day previous for months. You'll get more done in a week. So not daunting, you can get through it. How you write your tasks doesn't affect it. So if you say fix car, you've dedicated to yourself, I'm going to do this thing, whatever the next task is for this, which you take an extra second to process and think, oh yeah, that means call Midas. And so you call Midas and you're done with that task. So it doesn't matter necessarily how we write our tasks. 41% go undone. This isn't true. My task list, you get through your daily routine every day. Sometimes if you don't get through it in one day, you can always get to it the next day. But for most part, you get through it every day. So it doesn't go undone. My task list is now 2 to 5 things max, which is pretty awesome. And I get through all of it. So you can do the same. You get through the things instead of them just going undone. Easy and calm and determined when you get done, when you agreed to for yourself. So I just had a confusing note that I bolded and underlined, so it doesn't quite make sense to me right in this moment, so I'm going to skip past that one. But let's just get to the next one, which is a feeling of done. So when you get to when you get through your tasks, you're done. When you get through your routine, you're done. It's not like a task list that always grows and is forever. The last step in the framework I'll show you is to review. And so you just look back at what you've done for the day and you're done. And you can feel good about that. So you get a done feeling each and every day. Part of the routine is walling yourself off from distractions when you do that one work item. So you have it baked into your routine not to be distracted by notifications, emails, and chats. And I have more materials on that later, but might have to be another one. But it's baked in, so you don't wait till the end of the day to finally wall yourself off or get things done only first thing in the very morning or at night or something. It's walled in. You wall yourself off sooner. It's sustainable, no burnout or needed vacation. Vacation is nice because you get time with your family and friends, and you have the energy to invest and enjoy them and all that sort of thing. And it's sustainable. All right, big booms at the end of the fireworks show. When we're done with our last step, we're truly done. So that's awesome. All right. So imagine just thinking about like how long you've put off that one task. What if you did do that just today, and then tomorrow you did the one thing, and you didn't just, once you were done, you didn't just say, oh, I should just keep going and doing a ton of stuff. You detoxed from that mentality, and you just did one real thing a day, because that's sustainable. Do one real thing every day, make that a habit, and then if you still have energy and you want to, do 2 things, whatever it looks like, but detox first and just get one thing a day. Give yourself permission. All right, bonus points for routine, because not only is the routine better in every way than is the opposite and better than every way than a task list driving your day, but it's also way better. So we've got bonus points for routine. So it uses the momentum and energy in your day that's natural to you. We only have 4 to 5 hours of creative time and capacity in an entire day, and arguably you need to separate that into 2 to 3 chunks. But the first time that you have that momentum and energy, that's when you're doing this routine. So it uses that, and you get momentum. Our true selves know that it's possible to get through it too. So deep down, we have this true self that we look at our lists and we think that's not possible to get through, and it stresses us out, and we get distracted and don't do things. But our true selves are determined and have hope and know that it's possible to get through a routine. You use the reward of getting through each step to get through each step. So you can, if you get through each part of the process, which I'll talk about in the framework after this, the reward is getting through it all to get to the R phase, the review phase, and be done. And you can reward yourself for that. The only way to get through the end is to actually do the work. So you reward yourself for getting through the work. You have vision again. So with the more energy and getting through things, you're going to have so much vision. That's how I started Timesmith, is because I had vision for it. I had extra energy after the workday. That extra energy can also be used for your family and friends. That's what I've done with my kids after they get home from school. I have energy for them now, and it's awesome. Didn't used to have that at all. And it also just uses momentum from your habits. So if you've heard of habits and how powerful they are, a daily routine is that. It's just packaged together so that you get through everything and get clear and get your work done, and it uses the power of doing it every day and making that a habit. All right, so let's get into the framework that I recommend. And what I've done is name it so it's a little bit easier to comprehend and understand and remember. I've called it the power routine. So each letter stands for part of your routine. The P is for processing, so that's processing email and chat and other inputs so that you get to 0, you get clear. Then the O is to open your lists. You've got a waiting list, a next list, and meeting lists that you'll need, just those 3 types. The W is for work, so we get one main thing done per day, one task, and if you get that done quickly, then reward yourself by still being done. And if it takes a while, stop yourself after 2 hours, I recommend, because at that point you're just hitting a wall anyways. You need some space to stand back and get creative again. The E is for engage. So engage in your meetings, and you'll quickly find which ones are worth your time to engage in and not be distracted in doing other things, and which are not worth it. And then brainstorm and think through just different ways to change your meetings so that you're using your time well in those. And my guide has some tips there. And then the R is for review. So review your day. By that point, you've processed all of your inputs. You've gotten clear on everything. You have opened your lists, gone through your waiting list on Tuesday and Thursday, and gotten through one main thing, and you've engaged in any meetings you have. So at that point, all you have to do is review. Just think back on even one thing that you've done well that day. Think back on one thing you've accomplished that day, and what you've done, and also take time to rest, to reward yourself, to rejuvenate, all those good R words. And I talk more about that in the guide as well, but take some time for yourself and reward yourself. And that's the power routine: process, open, work, engage, and review. So I recommend you do those things in that order. And if you do that every day, it's powerful, hence the word power. You'll get a lot of things done, and it'll be really helpful for you. Conclusion here. So we've got just an application question for you. So in the comment below, just let us know one new habit that you want to start. It could be implementing the full power routine, which I have a guide for, and a 10-day challenge for that can help you get all set up with that. Or it could just be one thing that you want to do every day. Maybe it's just one main task that you want to do and you want to let yourself off the hook after that. Maybe that's a habit that you could start. But what's one daily habit? So post that in the comments below. And then let's just stop and think about it. So stop letting the task list drive your day. I'll leave you with this kind of thought for that, which is what Jesus said with the Sabbath. So the Sabbath being the day of rest, and it was very legalistic in Jesus's day. And he said the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. And I think we can take a lesson from that for our task list, that it's made to serve us, not us serve it. But how many of us go through our lives serving our task list? Instead, let your task list serve you. Agree ahead of time how much you're going to do. 2 hours max at a time, or one task. If you get through it in 15 minutes, congratulate yourself. You're innovative, creative. It took less time than you needed to, and you got done. So don't feel like you just have to keep going. Be excited. Let it serve you that you got through it, and it was helpful that it was all right there on your task list to figure out which one you wanted to do and do it. But let it serve you, not the other way around. Don't serve your task list your whole life. Start using your daily routine. So if you get that feeling with a daily routine, you're going to have that feeling of done. You're going to have way more energy, and you are going to get more done, because all those things that you put off, instead, you just let yourself off the hook that you got one of them done, and then you're done. And so it feels manageable and exciting, and you get hope, and you actually do things. Okay. So I wanted to give you again the free guide URL. So that's going to be timesmith.work/guide. I'm really excited for you guys to try that out. It's 2 pages that, again, it's going to help you in a checklist format get through the power steps of your power routine. It's going to help you get through email and chat quickly, because it outlines the 6 things to do for every email and chat. And then it gives you a description of some tips on how to use your 3 different lists, and it wraps up with some information on meetings. Another thing, just throwing that out there, but think about turning off notifications. You're going to get to your apps like chat and email, but if those are popping up all the time, it costs you a lot. And I'm definitely going to have to do another podcast on notifications, but consider turning those off to help you get through your routine. But again, download that free guide, timesmith.work/guide, and I hope that it's really helpful for you guys. Anyways, here's to a great 2023, and I hope that if you guys start using this daily routine instead of just going after a task list all day, every day, and just not getting as much done, being stressed, and you switch to this, you start really powering through everything you have to get done. I'm excited to hear the stories, and that hopefully it's impacted your lives like it has mine. So use that, and I'll be here next week teaching you more about it and each part of the power routine, so that you can get better and understand how to do it and be effective, efficient, and fulfilled. All right, signing out, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.